Is this the end? The end of a seller's market, the end of epic price increases, and the end of a mortgage boom. And what about the end of real estate agents? It might be. Home prices cooled and mortgage refis drop. Is a home price correction here? Is Zillow trying to win back agents so they could just snuff them out? And is the hope of a public MLS dying with CoStar's separation from broker public portal? We dive into the tidal wave of terrible headlines on This Week in Real Estate. Yay! Thanks for joining us, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're broadcasting right now in 4 different locations. We're on Clubhouse, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So thank you for joining us from wherever you're joining us. I'm Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And that is my co-host, Dan. That was almost like right on cue as soon as the music went up there. So thank you guys for joining us. If you are joining us on any of those apps, if you're on Clubhouse specifically, look up at the very top. There's a little greenhouse. Click that greenhouse, and so you can join the largest real estate networking club on Clubhouse and be notified of great rooms like this. Also, if you're on YouTube, you can comment, and then we can display your comment and talk about you. Like there's Matt LaMarche, who said he's actually really first this time. We can also talk about your comment. And you can also comment from LinkedIn as well. So just like that, he's also commenting on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Matt LaMarche. And then he said, give me that Cliff Award, which he misspelled. He's Facebook user because if you see this, Facebook user, you have not allowed StreamYard to use your avatar and information. And so you will comment as Facebook user, which is somewhat anonymous, but everybody else on Facebook can see you comment. So
right.
The reason why we do the show live is so that you guys can comment and add to the discussion. We got a whole bunch of cool things to talk about today, and I'm excited to get to it. That says, haha. Homes by Krista. What's up, Krista? She's got her new YouTube channel. You should check that out. She's joining us live today too.
Wait, well, I want to know, Julie, what she said. Hey, Matt, you know who else is first? What's going on? Where's the resolve?
Where's that resolve? Who else is first?
Hanging. You know, like when you're listening to a song and you're like, oh, it doesn't go. Oh, come on. I just want that. I need the melody to resolve right now, and it doesn't.
There you go.
That's where we're sitting right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll be able to go down to the bottom after the show. It's actually about an hour or two after the show now. We've really cut the time down. So about an hour or two after the show, we have all the timestamps down there, and you can zoom to a part of the show that covers what you're interested in. And we've been also linking up all of our source articles. So you're like, where are these guys getting this? You could go to YouTube, and in the comments or the description, it'll say source articles. It has a list of all the articles that we talk about during the show. So that's the easiest way to find some of this information if you want to do your own research. How you doing, Dan?
I'm good. I'm a little worried that the University of Georgia Bulldogs are first, though.
The Bulldogs are first.
Ugh.
I mean, Arkansas had a wonderful game this weekend, except for major faux pas. We should have won that game. I don't want to talk about it right now.
Rams are playing pretty good, too.
The who?
Rams.
Oh, that's the NFL. We don't have that here.
Yeah. No, Rams, the University of Colorado. Or no, sorry, Colorado State.
Colorado State Rams. There you go.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Dan, before we get into all these articles, would you take just a second, tell people what the show is actually all about?
Yeah. So when I met Ray here on the interwebs, here on Facebook, we were trolling a large group of real estate agents, and we were doing it so beautifully that we kind of, would end up on the same sub comments and kind of like, dude, this guy and I vibe. And I had an idea for a show at the time called The Bearded Man of Real Estate, which is now This Week in Real Estate, because I am in fact a bearded man. And when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
What was that, Dan?
He cannot out-putt Matt LaMarche. Cannot. He can't do it.
Oh, probably can't, but I can definitely out-call him. Wow.
Yeah,
I still have not totally figured out. It's on Do Not Disturb. I haven't totally figured that out. I'll figure it out.
It's the new phone. There's some growing pains. So, but it came up this week.
Go ahead.
It came up this week in our side thread. We have a Be More contributors page, or is it This Week in Real Estate contributors page? And Scap, the appraiser who's commenting on here as well, I think on YouTube, he's challenged Matt to come out for your charity, Ray, to sink a 10-foot putt. And I haven't played golf in 20 plus years, 25 years, I could sink a 10-foot putt. Just let me have a few. Just let me get used to holding the golf club again. I'll sink a 10-foot putt. No problem. So I'm putting on Ray. Ray cannot beat Matt in a putt off, we'll call it. Putt.
So here's the first 3 putts I ever tried in my entire life. I got a hole in one. This is a true story.
Putt?
A putt, yeah.
Okay.
So my mom and dad took me out putt. I was 3 years old. I hit the ball, it goes in. They're like, oh, wow, that's funny. Ray made a hole in one. Second hole, hit the ball, it goes in. My dad's like, what in the world? Third hole, hit the ball, it goes in. My dad's like, I have a child prodigy. Like, we're going to be rich. Fourth hole, it's all downhill from there. It all fell apart. Yeah. So I don't know what happened on the first 3 holes, but the first 3 holes are generally the easier holes. But these days, unless something happened, and my mind like shifted back to the Rain Man version of 3-year-old Ray who could calculate all the trajectories of those 3 holes, then yeah, you're probably right. I probably couldn't sink a 10. Yeah. Was it 10 yards?
10 foot. 10 foot putt.
I can't even do 10 foot. I mean, 10 foot, that's far.
10 foot. Now, even if you put in a little bit of, right or left break or downhill, it's fine.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
My point is
the last time, so recently there've been a couple of real estate masterminds and stuff where we took the day and went golfing. But previous to this year, the last time I went to a driving range, I was hitting balls and the club head was flying out into the driving range because number one, I didn't know what I was doing. So I had these super cheap clubs, and this was before Top Golf days. And so I was hitting these clubs, I think Dunlap or whatever, and the club heads were flying into the range. I'd run and go get the club heads and that's how long it's been since I've played. That was like in college. So yeah, I'm pretty awful.
Yeah, last time I swung a club was in my early 20s, and I was pretty good at the time. My grandpa had me playing golf from my grandpa had me playing golf from the time I was about 12. I think I started playing. I played for about 10 years. But anyway. My entire reasoning for saying that is just to get Scap and Matt to fight. That's the entire point of that. But I am still, I can still putt better than both of you. But I digress. I obviously noticed when I met Ray that he's a beautifully bearded man, but I also noticed that he loves giving value up front to not only his clients, but just to humans in general. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
Yeah, and if you're wondering what that charity was he was talking about, it was Real Men Wear Pink. And you can go to bit.ly/support. Capital R, capital M, capital W, capital P, or you can just click the link that I threw in the chat, and you could support that cause too. It's for a great cause, our American Cancer Society. So, but one of the reasons we believe, one of the reasons we believe that you guys we do this show and is for you to be more by knowing what in the world is going on. So that's why we do it. We want you to have like 1 hour roughly to where you could come get a summation of everything major that's happening in real estate and in the industry so that you can better consult with your clients and help them to make the best decision for them. So that's why we do the show. And Dan, without further ado, why don't we get into the show?
Let's go.
Well, this is the end.
This is it. We've been talking about this. Is it?
It's over, guys. We've had the run of the mill. Isn't that what they talk though? The run of the mill.
We've had the rule of the roost.
What does that mean, actually? Run of the mill. I guess that means that there's nothing else that can go into the mill, that it's all you, and there's no other competition for you to like make what you're trying to make. You've had the run of the mill. Is that what that means?
See, I thought run of the mill was meant like normal, like mediocre. It's your regular run of the mill car. It's just that's what I thought run of the mill meant, kind of ordinary.
What run of the mill? Runt of the mill means like the worst car. What is the phrase? Somebody,
I don't know.
Let's get a number crunch on that. Anyway,
you guys got a comment. I'm gonna look it up. You guys got a comment, and Ray's gonna.
Yeah. So we've had our fair share of successes in real estate lately, but home prices have cooled in July at the fastest rate in history of the S&P Case-Shiller Index. The U.S. home prices cooled in July. It's the fastest rate in history. Home prices in July were still higher than they were a year ago, but cooled significantly from June gains. Prices nationally rose 15.8% over July 2021, well below the 18.1% increase in the previous month. Let me read that again. Home prices cooled in July, fastest rate in history. Home prices in July were still higher than they were a year ago, but cooled significantly from June gains.
But wait until you get to the cooling. Wait till you get to, it may not be this article, it may be another one, but wait until you get to it. And by the way, didn't they cool pretty quick in 08?
Yeah.
I mean,
real quick.
Like 19.2%.
But this is the fastest in history. Apparently, prices nationally rose 15.8% over July of 2021.
What'd you just
Home
say?
prices have cooled. I mean, historic rates.
Got it.
Home price drops crazy.
But then
they only rose 15.8%. Listen, that is well below the previous month, which was 18.1%.
Wait, historically though, I know
historically it's a 3% month to month, year over year decrease.
Historically, so that's bigger than
2008
when it was 19.2%. Historically,
right?
Okay,
so it marks. Craig Lazar, managing director of the S&P DJI, in a release, noted the difference in the annual gains in June and July and said there's a 2.3 percentage point difference. He said July's report reflects the forceful deceleration. The difference between those two monthly rates of gain is the largest deceleration in history of the index.
Okay, what's the history of the index?
It doesn't say how far back it goes, but that's a great question. Maybe we can get a number crunch on that as well.
Does it go back 4 years?
Let's update people. Run of the mill. Julie Moon, she says the idiom run of the mill comes from a time when machinery began to use factories and mills, items that were once custom made by hand and were now cranked out for consumption by the masses.
Run of the mill.
So run of the mill means ordinary.
Yeah, that's what I've always used it as. So run of the mill, not meaning
unusual or specific aspects.
Meaning
not
a
outstanding
run, like
quality or
like a printing or a run through this mill. It's run of the mill. It's been run
so
through
you're
the
telling
mill.
me when people say we've had our run of the mill, that's an improper usage of the phrase.
Yes. Did they use it in this article?
I used it.
Oh yes, that would be wrong. I'm not saying you were wrong. I'm saying that would be wrong.
No, I'm not wrong, but if someone had used that phrase,
right, then
they could potentially be wrong.
They could have potentially a couple minutes ago when they said it, they could have been wrong. Yeah,
but I'm not wrong.
No. I would think you would say we've had our rule of the roost. We've ruled the roost for the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Well, the chickens have come home.
And now they're roosting.
To quote Al Sharpton. For homeowners planning to list in today's market, it's significantly different from even 3 weeks ago, says George Radetu, senior economist and manager of economic resource at Realtor.com. Home prices are dropping because affordability is weakened dramatically due to faster rising mortgage rates. Quote, as the Federal Reserve, this is from Craig Lazara, as the Federal Reserve continues to move interest rates upward, mortgage financing has become more expensive, a process that continues to this day. Given the prospects for a more challenging macroeconomic environment, home prices may well continue to decelerate. Guys, what are we going to do?
Decelerate. They're using really creative words now after almost 5 years. It's actually been almost 5 years. 5 years of doing this show. They get more and more creative with ways to try to get you to say that the market is going to crash. Deceleration. So,
yeah.
But it's a deceleration from, 200 miles an hour down to, a mechanically regulated 155 like the Audi R8. It's a very specific reference.
It's a very specific reference. Well, what mortgage apps do? We know mortgage decelerated. We know mortgage refi dropped to a 22-year low as interest rates surge higher. Let's see. After a strange rebound the week before, applications to refinance a home declined 11% for the week and were 84% lower than same week a year ago. They're now at a 22-year low because there were fewer borrowers that could benefit from the refinance at today's higher interest rates. Let's look at the mortgage applications. That's what, as we're looking at the real estate market and the housing, we do look somewhat at the refis because I could tell you that people are going to stay there for a little long. Everyone and their dog was refinancing their house last year because rates were so low. But mortgage applications to purchase a home decreased 0.4% for the week. Now, they were 29% lower than the same week a year ago.
0.4%.
Yeah, 0.4% lower than the previous week.
I mean, that's like the next article. The next article says we'll get to it, but it's the same thing. It's like, 22-year low. Well, it's 0.4% week over week, but it's the same.
Now
thing.
it is a 20. It's the significant difference from last year, though. It's a 29% lower than the same week a year ago.
It is. And what were interest rates a year ago? 3. They were in the 3s again, weren't they? 3, 4 or something. But I'm guessing
these are applications to purchase, not just refis.
Right.
So that's a significant difference.
Yeah.
You have to wonder why. Why is it so much lower? We know that some buyers have pulled back. We see the historic price deceleration of 3% month to month. Yeah,
prices are still up. Mortgages, rates are up higher than ever. It all makes sense to me. It all fits the pieces,
But that is a huge chunk of people that have not applied for a mortgage.
It is a huge chunk. And now, what does that mean for agents? Is this the end for agents? Like, what are buyers agents doing right now?
That's a great question. I mean,
if you ask Julie Moon, they're calling her to bug her about new. What was it, Julie? Her about new lead source generation.
That's true. Oh, speaking of mortgage rates, we have a Clubhouse member that may know a little bit about mortgages. Tim Reagan, he's in there. What's up, Tim? Do you have time to chat for a minute? Just putting him on the spot. He just joined the room. It's coming in from nowhere.
Because we've had all these 0.75 increases and interest rates go up every time they raise them by 0.75, right, Tim?
Tim, are you there? Can you chat? He may not be able to chat. It's fine. Okay. Well, when you can chat, let the mods know. I'll bring you up. But I do want to talk to someone in lending about it because I want to see this if they're experiencing also the sharp decrease, 29% lower applications were than the same week a year ago. What's that mean for inventory moving forward? It's got to mean that there's an increase in inventory and that prices are still going to start going down. The price deceleration will continue. So what happens when price deceleration continues past the current values? That is another dun 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 moment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of price corrections, let's talk about some specific markets that Fortune is pointing out that has lower than expected price corrections, more than expected, higher percentage of what?
Here, let me read the
title. How do they phrase it?
Are you ready? I'm going to read the article.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
These two maps show the U.S. home price correction is sharper and more widespread than previously thought.
Yay, we got visual aids.
Mm-hmm.
So Fortune put out an interesting map. I'm going to display the map so you guys can see it. We'd love to talk to you about it, especially if you're in those areas.
And now remember, as we read this, as we go through this, these two maps show the U.S. home price correction is sharper and more widespread than previously thought. They're calling it a correction. Okay, just remember that.
I feel like doing maps like this is kind of the new cool thing because if you do a map like this, we've been all looking at these pandy maps for a long time.
Yeah.
Everybody's been watching it.
I like the interactive ones when you can go back, like slide back to last month and 2 months ago. And then, yeah.
And someone tell Tim I was calling him out. Okay. Here's the map. Y'all can see that, right? Yep. Okay. So you can put your little cursor over some of the spots where it says like Fayetteville, Arkansas, negative 3.7%. So this is how the ongoing housing correction is shifting regional home prices, according to John Burns Real Estate Consulting.
Just a guy.
They have the whole article on there. You could check out Fortune. It's basically using some of the same information that we just covered about the Case-Shiller Index indices. But let's find a couple of them. Where's LA? Where's it? There it is. Los Angeles, negative 5.1.
Okay.
So the home price shift
prices.
since its peak. So since the peak, home prices in LA are negative 5% down.
I want to know what they're justifying that with. So if I listed a home, whatever it was, the peak was at $1 million, right now I'm listing it 5% less. Is that the 5-year-old version?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Honolulu is 0. El Paso 0.
The green
Albuquerque
ones.
0.
Yeah. For
Green
the
ones are
listeners,
0.
there's a scale of really red, like more of a crimson red, all the way to green. Green is obviously at 0.
Green is just 0, but they don't say up. They don't say that there's a price correction. They're not saying that it's higher.
It's just 0.
0. The home price shift is 0. I haven't seen one that says, I haven't seen one that is positive. It's just there's no shift, or it's hard for me to believe that in all of these markets, there's nothing that's gone up. I think they just said anything positive is 0.
Right. What? So yeah, if it's the same or gone up, go to the ones that kind of Northern California, right on the coast there. They're really, really red.
Santa Rosa is negative 3.9.
Keep going down.
San Jose is negative 8.2.
8.2. So San Jose is an interesting one because it's, I mean, no one really wants to live there. It smells like an armpit, but but because it's close to San Francisco and it's close to Napa and it's close to Silicon Valley, it got a boom. So that 8.2% or 8% is really interesting there. And by the way, that's prices, not values.
Yeah. What's the Santa Cruz is negative 6.5. San Fran is negative 8.2.
Yeah.
The highest I'm seeing on the list. Yeah, is Krista still here? She's in San Jose.
That 8.2.
She could speak to the armpit of California. Is that what you called it?
It smells like an armpit. Yeah. I'm not kidding.
Okay, she says she is here. All right,
hi, Krista.
Here you go, Krista.
Still love you.
I just sent you a text. Why don't you come on and tell us a little bit about your market? What's happening? Oh, I was trying to, sorry, I was trying to move my cursor on the screen that I'm sharing. That doesn't work. We also have some people from Hotlanta here. It's negative 3.3.
Oh, dude, that's the end of real estate agents there. Matt, Julie, you're in trouble, dude.
Yeah. I'm going over several of these. Austin, Texas, negative 3.5. San Antonio is only negative 1.7. And then Killeen, Texas is 0. Little Rock, Arkansas is not even mentioned.
Not even mentioned because it's still flat like it always does. By the way, Krista, I didn't say you smell like an armpit.
Yeah. Morgan Hill might be a little bit better than that. All right, let's see if she'll oh, look who's here. What's up, Krista? Thanks for joining the show. You never know when you're gonna get called on. Oh, she said, wait. She got to unmute me.
Thanks for joining the show.
Oh, you got to stop watching us on the other
you never know when you're
thing because now we hear my echo. We hear myself coming through.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you being a loyal viewer of the show even while you're on the show.
That's amazing.
We need the view counts. We really do. So she's trying to find where she's watching it in the background. now she's turned her camera off. Thanks, Chris. Krista will be right with us, y'all.
We'll come back to her.
There's a tech-enabled agent right there in Silicon Valley, nonetheless.
What's
up, Krista?
I have too many monitors and too much going on, and all I could hear is you twice, Ray.
You're welcome.
Man, so kind.
Okay, we're looking at this map. You're the worst.
We are the worst.
It's San Jose, negative 8.2. That's the price correction that's currently going on in your marketplace. Does this reflect what you're seeing there locally?
It absolutely is.
Really?
So I think I mentioned this to you. I just filmed a new YouTube video about this, that we're seeing anywhere from 8% all the way up to a 29% correction from the peak of last year. And these are the markets that we've seen the most inflation as well. So it's appreciation too. I mean, we were writing offers 200 to 400,000 over list. It was bonkers.
Yeah, that's what we were getting that a lot in LA too. said that on the show. So, but I wanted to ask that question. So I kind of mentioned outside of the armpit comment, I'm half joking. But look, she doesn't say anything. She knows that I'm right. Just
It smells like an armpit.
I'm kidding. I love you.
San Francisco smells like an armpit. We'll go
That's
with
also true. It's also true.
These two Californians can at least agree on that.
But a wetter armpit because of humidity. Anyway.
Oh, golly.
Now, but because of San Francisco and Silicon Valley, did you guys feel that, you know, because I don't work there, obviously, but I have friends who live up that way and they ended up having to buy way outside of where they actually work. Did you get that that wave coming through for the last 2 years?
Yeah, definitely. I actually serve a little bit south of the armpit, which is Morgan Hill. Smells like garlic there,
the rib. She's in the rib cage of
Right.
Kelly.
So yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that one. So we're getting a lot of people moving to those boundary cities, right? So people are fed up with what's happening in San Jose is kind of the hub of Silicon Valley. So people are growing tired of it. They're tired of the lifestyle there and how congested it is. And then the insane prices. Even with corrections, we're still seeing prices well over what we saw 2 years ago. So people are still priced out and it's tech money. So they need to be in proximity. But they definitely are moving to the boundary cities, such as Morgan Hill.
Let me see.
Much nicer.
Morgan Hill, this is plugging her area specifically. Let's see if we can find some rich tech investors that are having some trouble. I don't know if I can. All right, so stick with this. Let's look at the next map. So there's two maps on the Fortune article. This one is from the John Burns Real Estate Consulting. The next map, some guy. The next map is a company called Zillow like pillow. I don't know.
Zillow, I think. Xylophone. Yeah.
Xylophone.
Yeah.
How, according to how the ongoing housing correction. Oh, I'm just going to restart that. Hang on.
Yeah, ignore that.
How the ongoing housing correction is shifting regional home prices, according to Zillow. As you can see in California, there's no green. Up here on the other one, there was some green. The green was in Napa. It was 0. Santa Barbara 0. El Centro and
well, okay, those two places are those are literal armpits, but
okay, not to disparage any market in particular.
No.
But this one doesn't have, so this one's got the sliding scale. You can see at the top as I hover over the thing, it's no longer showing on the tag. It's up at the top. It shows you.
Yeah. 9.
And this says San Jose is 11.9%. It looks like 9, but it's not 9. It's just so low that the 11 is cut off. You see that? Oh, so on this one, San Jose is also the worst.
Well, it's great.
So some would say, Krista, that if you see an 11% market correction in a market that is Silicon Valley with employers like Apple, some would say that maybe that's an opportunity. Is it not? Or are they still so inflated that you kind of have to still pick and choose the deals?
No, I would 100% say it's an opportunity.
So you see a market in which there's 11% from the price. I would say maybe check it out.
And also, what your days on market went from 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah, as many days as you said to.
Right. And now you're at a more normalized market of 30, which is a full listing, right? Or I mean, a full escrow period. We're in California. We have escrow. So which 30 days is still pretty quick, by the way. Like I remember when I started in the business, I think I said this on the show like 3 or 4 episodes ago. I had a flyer that said, I can sell your home in 88 days. That's faster than any other agent in 88 days. And 88 days was fast, really
so fast
of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me this, Krista, in your market, are there sellers that are coming to the closing table crying about their losses, about how much money they thought they would make that they're no longer going to make in the multi-millions of dollars?
The only people crying are the ones that bought at the height of the market on a flip.
Oh,
yeah. Hurts. Yeah, I get a lot of that. So that hurts. Aside from that, unless someone bought at the height and now has to sell, which there are some, aside from that element, no, there's still celebration to be had. Most people have lived in their home 5+ years and they have a bucket of equity.
And I would also say that window is pretty small for if you bought at the top. And I would say,
oh yeah,
I mean, for me, it changed in April, like February, March or April. So I would say, unless you bought, I mean, less than a year ago, you're probably still sitting on a, at least flat, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
So, not a lot of people crying.
So what are homeowners going to do who bought last year and see an 11% decrease?
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
But is it though?
What are homeowners going to do?
The only people that are doing that is because they are forced to, right? So it's a very, very small pocket of people, and most of them are just staying in their property to hope it appreciates again.
Oh, okay. So
Weird.
they're just going to continue to live.
Live where they bought a house. It's weird. What a weird concept.
Well, thanks for joining us, Krista. And you guys, if you are interacting with our show, and specifically if you text me, be ready, because you might get a link that says, click this and join the show. So,
I wasn't ready.
thanks for coming on a whim. Yay.
By the way, I've been to Morgan Hill and it smells fantastic. It's like roses. It's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Morgan Hill. I'm stopping at Morgan Hill. Just kidding.
That's right. No, we don't want to keep you. We know that you have a show that you want to watch right now, and we don't want to keep you from that. So we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for jumping on. That's awesome. Thank you.
We'll see you later. Take care. All right.
That's so rad. Like literally no other show can do that. That's just not
just possible. Like bring people on at random. That we're literally talking about that market, and then there they are.
And she was not ready for it.
She was not ready for it, but she did great. That was really good, actually.
That is so
a random interview. Nice. I do want to bring back up Atlanta, Georgia. On this one is only negative 0.6. So on the other one, it was negative 3.3.
Okay. So I wanted to ask that. The first one is prices. The second one is values.
This still, well, home prices and home prices. They're both home prices.
Okay. They're both home prices.
Yeah.
Wow. Why are they so far off?
I know none of them say, all of them have said no gains, but I think that's just because they're saying anything positive is zero.
Right. If you're still gaining, even if you're at 10%, you're at zero.
Right. For this one does have a number for Little Rock, which is 0.4%, which yeah, we're crashing.
Ray.
Yeah.
That's a correction. It's the end. This is the end. By the way, you guys were wondering why I keep saying this is the end. You haven't seen the thumbnail.
Yeah, we should show the thumbnail soon. All right, Jason Bates says, keep an eye on employment numbers. That would be the precursor for the direction of housing. Okay, so yes, however, we are right now at historic high employment numbers, like at 3% employment. And part of the reason that some have said
those numbers are wrong. It's just they're wrong.
Well, here's why it doesn't feel like it normally feels. It's because a lot of people got part-time jobs because inflation, things are more expensive. Right. And they're taking on part-time work. They're filling up job positions, but it's not necessarily full-time work. Now, what happens with the Fed, we should see employment numbers start to drop. We should see more unemployed people, because that's what happens as money begins to tighten. So there are a lot of people that say, watch the employment numbers. That's the key marker. Only if employment numbers don't move at an inverse to inflation. So if inflation starts to tamper and those prices start to become more normal due to the high rates, and they leave those rates high, we are going to see more people unemployed. But that's what happens. When money is more difficult for businesses to use to expand, they stop expanding. So they either stop hiring or they start to let people go. And when that happens, you'll see the change in the employment numbers, but it should start to move in an inverse relationship with inflation. So right now you see inflation start to go up. Those employment numbers are at historic highs at 3%. I think 3.3% was one of the last times I checked it. So and inflation is super high. Well, as inflation begins to come down and the rates stay up, you are going to see more people unemployed. But that's the lever. That's the only lever he can move in this way. And that's what happens. He either maintains full employment or he prevents inflation. He can't do both. Does this make sense? Hopefully that makes sense.
You know who's not feeling this is CEOs. during this inflationary, is that a word? Inflationary period?
Yeah.
17.1 increase. So we're talking about jobs, right? They've had a 17.1 increase from the previous year in pay. They're good. They're fine. So you guys worry about the tough times. Don't worry. The CEOs are fine. They're fine.
I don't begrudge the CEOs making more money through a difficult time period.
I do. I always do. You know that.
I know. I think it takes a lot more to run a company successfully when inflation is where it is and the economy is doing what it's doing. I think maybe they should have gotten a pay decrease.
You just fire people and then take a $5 million bonus. That's easy to do. Anyone can do that. But hey, Ray, there's an Inman article that covers this. Do we have to hit that too?
We can. Yeah, let's touch on the Inman article. It's this kind of in the same vein. So let me just bring it up so I can. I think it's just a list version of the map that we saw. Oops. Sorry.
Ooh, earnings season. This is from Jason Bates on YouTube. Earnings season is coming up. Ford missed earnings by $1 billion, and FedEx missed big as well. So those CEOs are only going to get a $2 or $3 million bonus. Or what they'll do is
a lot of the bonuses are structured with earnings. So if they're missing out on earnings, then that's going to hurt more.
They will separate themselves from the company, and they will only get a $45 million. What do you call it? Severance package. Right. It'll suck for them. It'll really, really suck for them. Ooh.
Okay, so here's the list. Where'd they get this list? Hang on. Is this from the Fortune article? First America's Index.
Oh, no, this is different. Okay.
First America's Index suggested homes are overvalued in 4 of the 50 biggest U.S. markets.
They have Real House Price Index. Have we ever covered that before? I've never seen it.
No. So in this one, how do they? For maths, let's talk about what they're using to compare it. The Real House Price Index, RHPI, which measures price changes of single-family properties after adjusting for the impact of changes in household income. Okay. Price changes of single-family properties after adjusting for the impact of changes in household income.
Not for CEOs, though. Okay.
Well, that's household. They're in a household too. Dan, they have families.
They do. By the way, not surprising. The list starts with 5.
San Jose,
San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego.
Yeah, there are 6 Californian cities there.
Riverside. Whoa, that's weird. I work Riverside. That is
where these
weird.
are overvalued. Now, what's interesting is they say they think they're overvalued, but I think it's talking about how these prices have adjusted down, right?
Down.
That's the confusing part. In the last map we were looking at, they were talking about the price adjustments that were happening in those markets. And then this one says that market is overvalued whenever you take the change in income and compare it to the change in prices. For what time period? Maybe we should look at that. Right? Let me see for what time period. It is through July of 2022. So that's when this report was run through.
Did you see just Krista? She's like, this isn't really the kind of press I wanted today.
I think it's great, man. It's all
remember, she's outside of San Jose in Morgan Hill. Perfect.
Well, this is the exact reason why you need a professional real estate agent to navigate this, especially if you're looking to buy in San Jose, because they can help you navigate all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Jason Bates said earnings season's coming up. Those are big numbers. One of the ways these companies fix those numbers is by laying people off, by the way, which Jason probably knows. But
and Malars, you can't
all
have
press is good press, baby.
Yeah. All press is good press. You can't have that head of his job. And they have a new CTO. Remember, we got it. I don't know if we're going to mention that, but
they do have a new CTO. Didn't we say that they would do something like that?
Yeah, no, I sent you the thing that Millar sent
last week. Yeah. Last week we literally said that they have to shake up something at the C level.
And I said, yes, we both said that. I said they're going to go more real estate. You said they're going to go more tech. They went more tech.
Okay. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye. We don't have time to get that today. We got goals, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. All right. Anyway, so most overvalued markets, it's an interesting conversation, but if you see major price corrections in those markets, I would continue to keep an eye on it. There's a reason why these markets are overpriced, right?
They inflated so much.
Having Apple headquartered in your market is a pretty good reason to have high values, even if it is compared to other incomes around there. And if you see those prices start to correct, and I feel like you're getting a deal.
Right. And things are still going to, remember, Apple's still going to stay there for the most part until California messes it up. But just kidding. But you know, even if they're correcting home prices, the values are still going to stay there. But right now, I mean, you saw that 11.9% on the one stat there.
Yeah. I think what this really means, especially with the tech enabled or what's right. What?
Just she said, what's crazy is this is Krista again. And what is her last name again? Is it
Homes by Krista is her channel.
Oh, that's her full name.
Kristen
Okay,
Nielsen.
Homes by Krista. That's on YouTube. She said, what's crazy is July 2022 numbers are already completely left in the dust. And that's what we're talking about right now, by the way. These are all based on July numbers. So in a couple months, we'll have the actual right now numbers, September numbers.
Yeah. Then Jason Bates says, to be fair, Open Doors discounting price is 100K in Phoenix. So excuse the numbers slightly.
Ooh.
Yeah, we did talk about that last week, how they were cutting
44% of their listing. Nielsen, there you go, Kristen Nielsen. But 44% of their listings, they are taking price reductions on. They're losing money.
Matt Lamar says, our market is overpriced because agents aren't preaching market dynamics in Atlanta. They're already getting desperate.
That's
so they're like freaking out because their property hasn't sold in a certain period of time, which is kind of the new normal.
Well, you heard Krista say it. She went from 1 or 2 days on market to 30 days, and 30 days is still astronomically fast. I mean, that's a couple weekends on market. You get it into escrow, you know. So, and agents that started, they're like, dude, being an agent is easy. And they started when it's easy to sell a house. They're like, dude, it's been 17 days and I haven't sold the house. What do I do? Well,
I've already spent the money from the last commission. What am I going to do?
Right. My new Beamer, my new white Beamer, my new suit with my dumb little socks and tight little shoes on. Sorry, Matt. Oh no, he's a Porsche guy. He's a Porsche guy.
He's a Porsche guy with
wasn't talking about Matt then. I wasn't. I did not have Matt in mind when I said that. He's a Porsche guy, Ray. He's
maybe
Porsche
a little bit in mind.
Dude, everyone is on the chopping block today. I apologize. I don't know what's up. I feel in a happy mood. Maybe I'm not.
Matt with his little boat Spearies and a polo shirt.
It's a little golf game. He's just putting around.
It's all going to go away if Zillow's got something to do with it.
Just blame Zillow for everything.
Zillow launches the ShowingTime Plus in a bid to win real estate agents. What?
Wait, had they lost real estate agents though?
How have they lost real estate agents?
First thought.
Right.
Because Flex kind of lost some, and then when they became less agent centric, they lost some when that CEO left. Wow. You know, lots of those things. But you know, why is ShowingTime the tool to bring them all back?
It's always felt like a little bit of a fight, like a little bit of a dance between Zillow and real estate agents. And now maybe it's kind of game over for their real estate agent ending philosophy that may or may not have been at the forefront. The article on Inman actually talks a little bit about it. He talked about the perception of Zillow being for the consumers and a little bit anti-agent, and how that's very difficult for Zillow to change in a short period of time. I'm not going to spend a ton of time onto this article, because it's really funny what it says. Once you get about halfway through, it talks about kind of merging .loop, Bridge Interactive, and ShowingTime, and creating a more seamless service for real estate agents, and they're trying to do like brokerage services as a service type of thing. And then here's a quote from one of who's the spokesperson on this? Maybe it's John Chu of the Zillow group. He says, it's a big change for us internally, maybe in terms of who reports to who and who your manager is. If you're a customer of .loop or a customer of ShowingTime, those businesses are operating as they have before, and the change will probably be completely invisible to you.
I missed it. What's the plus for?
So that's a great question. It's the plus is because every service out there is adding plus to it.
Right, exactly.
Like Disney Plus, Hulu plus, I think they are now. ShowingTime Plus. I'm sure there's going to be Zillow Plus. You know what we should do? We should do This Week in Real Estate, hosted by the Bearded Men of Real Estate Plus. That way we can have people like Krista on the show.
Right. Plus. Today was plus.
Yeah. Be more plus.
Wait, that's I'm just fending off vampires.
Yeah. See, those pieces have been sort of all around for a while in different parts of our organization. This year we decided it seemed like a really good time to bring all of those together into one group at Zillow. Zillow Group tends to think home buyers and sellers as being primary person to solve problems for. It made sense for Zillow Group to have a division within Zillow that focuses on agents in the industry. So we took all the pieces that we already had and brought them together and then put them under one brand to signify that this is a thing that's going to be a focus for us. Services for industry. He said the only thing you'll notice as a consumer is you'll start to see the brands together. You'll see ShowingTime and .loop together. But if you're a customer of one or the other, your product will remain the same.
I just had an idea for a product. You ready? I'm going to pitch it to you guys right now. Okay, so you ever go out to that really nice bar and you can't get in? You ever go to that party and you can't get in? Okay, well, I'm going to launch a new service called Plus One. So no matter what, you're going to be on the list. And now on top of that, I've added a new service called Plus One Plus.
Where you get to be on the list of restaurants and clubs that don't even have lists.
Right. It's Plus One Plus. That's the more plus one gets you into wherever you want to go. But then there's the non-list lists, and I get you onto those, but you got to pay for Plus One Plus.
Love it. Matt Lamar says, or like ESPN plus nothing. Where do you get the sports plus their political perspective? Yeah, that is true. Dusty Martin says, plus the bearded women of real estate. That would be. Now, there are shows with bearded women, but they traditionally call them freak shows.
Which we're not saying they are.
We're not saying they are. I'm just saying that's what they've historically been. Historically. But Dusty says she'll wear a beard. You've been on the show before, Dusty. You didn't have to wear a beard. You're a plus.
We used to make that a requirement, then realized it was a little skewed because, the whole can't grow a beard thing.
Yeah, Tim Macy.
Right. That's why he's never on the show. We had him on because he knows a lot about Apple and his face is funny, but that was about it. And it was also funny to have Ray talk over Tim the whole time.
I do enjoy that. Yeah. Well, speaking of talking over, we have been talking a lot about the only thing to rescue the real estate industry from companies like Zillow that are looking to replace us, or maybe not looking to replace us, is if we had a public MLS. And a big hope of this public MLS is something like the Houston area realtors do. It's a really great MLS and it's public, it's out there for the public to search and look. So that's been an example we talked about. Another example we talked about was HomeSnap and CoStar's partnership. And they were running a lot of that through a company called Broker something portal.
Public portal.
Public portal. That's what it is. Right. Broker Public Portal, BPP.
And it was our great hope. We were, okay, they're trying it out. They're going to be the pioneers of this other than HAR, Houston area realtors.
Yep. Well, they're splitting up.
Sorry, that one got me.
What does this mean? CoStar's HomeSnap and Broker Public Portal get a divorce. This is on Inman. So when CoStar acquired HomeSnap, it already had a partnership with the BPP, which was a local company formed by a large group of brokers and multiple listing services to launch a national public-facing MLS website.
That's why they changed it. The shortened version is BPP. That's not good.
I mean, it's not great.
It's not great, BPP.
So, but nearly 2 years later, two companies are going their separate ways. The National Broker Portal LLC, a joint venture owned 50-50 by the two companies since December 2016, will shut down. Isn't that interesting?
Shut down, not part way, shut down.
Yeah. The change is a turning point for the industry initiative and hope to create a national listing site, beat out third-party portals such as Zillow. BPP and HomeSnap will continue to exist as separate companies, but HomeSnap will no longer be BPP's tech partner or national listing site. BPP will pivot, creating and providing a national listing data supernet and forming multiple joint ventures with tech vendors that wish to use the data for their products. I like that. HomeSnap and Homes.com, a national listing site created by CoStar, or listing site acquired by CoStar in mid-2021, will launch November as a brokerage website powered by Internet Data Exchange, IDX feeds. We're all familiar with those.
Yes.
According to BPP, so this is what led to the divorce. BPP had several owner meetings that we could discuss proposed changes presented by CoStar. BPP was ultimately not able to accept a new proposal in terms. Therefore, it agreed to wind down. When they were asked what those new terms were, they said basically paying to advertise and market their listings. The wind down.
They're paying to advertise their listings?
That's what kind of led to it.
Oof. Okay.
So CoStar wanted to do something which would allow people to pay to market their listings on there, or pay to advertise their listings on HomeSnap in front of consumers. And BPP said, nah, we don't want to do that. I'm trying to find where he says exactly. Okay, asked which terms BPP could not accept, Shaver said the specific terms are confidential, but indicated that CoStar's intention was to offer listing brokers the ability to pay to have their listings featured and promoted on HomeSnap. HomeSnap was the sticking point. CoStar HomeSnap has publicly stated their desire to build a consumer marketplace based on promoted listings, while BPP forced the premise of selling real estate, not ads. What CoStar says happened, after receiving significant input from MLSs and brokers to be part of BPP, it became clear that there was no one-size-fits-all solution. Okay.
I mean, it should be the solution to sell listings, not ads.
Yeah. Many of whom prefer, they're basically saying all these MLSs, many of whom that prefer to deal directly with HomeSnap and Homes.com rather than through the standard BPP agreement.
Oof.
Yeah.
Hey, so I have some harrowing news here. You ready?
Yeah.
Now this may be wrong, but I'm doing some quick research, and there's a report from 2021 that Zillow is at about 68 million monthly users a month, unique, right? Visits.
Yeah.
Okay. Broker Public Portal. Go ahead, take a guess. Zillow, 68 million.
So 10 million.
5,000.
Oh. So not significant yet.
No.
Okay.
I mean, were we talking about when we were talking about is it HomeStar? CoStar.
HomeSnap. CoStar.
CoStar and HomeSnap, right?
HomeStar Runner, though, was amazing.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
That's literally from Ray's early childhood.
That's
but
my past.
Now, but when we're talking about that, did we actually talk about it being called Broker Public Portal? I don't remember that. It's a little awkward name.
Oh, so it was going to be called the National. That's the partnership they're winding down, is what it was going to be called.
But
it was the National, whatever I said earlier.
So that was the umbrella, and then these were all the partners underneath.
National Broker Portal.
It's a super clunky name. Like, there's just Zillow, and boom, I'm going to go to Zillow. I'm going to go to Trulia. It's a fun name. What does that even mean? Who cares? What does Zillow mean? Who cares? But broker, I can't even remember it. National Broker Portal?
National Broker Portal.
It sounds like how people named websites in 1998. Like, super like, oof.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, it was a fail, but so this isn't surprising to me that it didn't take off.
No.
Okay, you're weird.
It's for all my HomeStar fans out there. That was fast getting that sound effect out.
Yeah, and then dude, there you go. How about National Broker Portal Plus? See, right there.
Who said that? All Marblehead. Who is this?
We broke this down.
Jack Adridge?
Yeah, I think so. There you go.
What's up, Jack? He said how about National Broker Portal Plus? So that's great.
Yeah.
Comment of the day. That's a great comment.
BPP Plus.
Okay, so wait, let me go back down. So what's next for Homes.com and HomeSnap, both products of CoStar? This could be exciting. CoStar plans to launch Homes.com and HomeSnap.com as a national IDX sites by the National Association of Realtors annual conference in November. To accomplish this, CoStar is taking a page from Zillow and currently joining individual MLSs through its licensed real estate brokerage subsidiary, 10X, TEN-X. Barnes said that 10X would comply with MLS participant requirements at whatever levels necessary, but our intention is not to hire a bunch of agents. We will look more like Zillow than we do Remax. So basically, they're getting a broker in every state. Once they have a broker in every state or every MLS, then they have I guess every state, and then they could get into every MLS by paying all the fees and stuff. Then they have access, and so they're doing an end around instead of trying to get all these MLSs to agree together. And then bam, they're going to have a national home search website.
If only we had like a national association of something that could help us.
Could have done this. Yeah,
it's really weird. If only we had it, and then we created a website like maybe Realtor.com or something that we kept to ourselves. If only that would have happened.
CoStar, quote unquote, is going to be sending more leads for free to agents and brokers than anyone has ever done before. So it's very different from Zillow, who's taking all the leads and putting them into a referral network. So I think the goodwill we're going to have is going to be unmatched.
This is a big hill to climb, though. I mean, they are way behind. Zillow started 15 years ago.
You buried the lead. That could be significant news, right?
Yeah. That should have been the headline. That should have been the article. There you go, Dusty. You want to write articles? Write that one.
I like it. So what do you guys sound off? Are you for Homes.com and HomeSnap? Now, doesn't Homes.com sell leads right now? But they just said for free.
I mean,
they just said for free.
It should be going to be just the MLS. Just go look right at the MLS. You can't see the agent side of it, but
to free to agents. But not HomeStar. Now I got HomeStar Runner in my head.
Okay, you're weird.
HomeSnap, Homes.com right now is set up like Zillow old school, where you buy an area and you get leads, right? Are any of you guys doing that? No, I got no comments on it. No one cares.
No.
Okay, fine. Maybe I'm the only one that's caring about it. Dusty said, "Oh, I missed." Right? What? Okay. She said she was editing her Google ads.
I read.
She was you're buying. I'm offering free leads through CoStar. No one cares. It's fine.
It's fine. Whatever. You don't have to listen.
Okay. We are against the time crunch though, so let's talk about this. Have you been in a situation, Dan, where you were? Yeah. All right. Have you ever been in a situation, Dan, where your seller wanted to sell recently?
Yeah.
But they couldn't get the price they were looking for.
Yep.
But they noted how crazy high rent rates were.
Yep. Literally right now.
Decided to rent instead. That's happening right now.
Literally right now.
Uh-oh. Sounds like it may be happening all over the country. With rent rates high and sales slow, more owners are becoming landlords. This article comes to us from The Inman. With monthly rents at all-time highs, more homeowners are deciding to become landlords rather than sell their home in today's market, according to a new survey and observations from real estate agents. It says 8-5% of homeowners. That's what it says. I think it means 80. But it says 8-85% of homeowners now have a mortgage with interest rate that's below today's level of 6.3%.
That seems right. 85%.
Yeah, 85%.
8.5% would be.
It's not 8 to 5 either.
No, it's a weird way to say it.
5 to 8.
And it's not 8.5 either. It's 85.
Right. All right. So 85% of homeowners now have a mortgage with an interest rate it's lower than 6.3%.
Yeah.
Which is today's rate. I can put money on it and say that I guarantee that it's increased from a year ago. Senior Vice President of Research for John Burns. So this is back to that John Burns real estate consulting method we saw earlier.
It's this guy.
So they know that the equity has increased. They know the rate has increased. 4% of sellers have now pulled their home off the market and said, I'm going to switch to a rental.
So this is the end of real estate agents.
Now, that's an observation made by Devin Bachman, John Burns Real Estate Consulting. So that's the number. But I don't know, how do they find that? How do they, I guess maybe they look at properties that were listed, that were then withdrawn, that are now posted for rent.
Yeah, but
that's how you'd have to find the data, right?
Right.
But
what if, however you say it, but what if you just take it off and you put the sign up in your own yard? You FSBO your rental. You for rent, you FURBO, you for rent by owner it, and you don't put it anywhere. Like where do they get that stat from? That's not data. That's just a sign in the yard.
There's a lot of property managers that are not a part of the MLS, so they may be renting it anyway. So it could be higher. It could be a higher number.
Well, part of the reason I don't do a lot of rentals is because not all rentals go into the MLS, and they don't. And even when they do, they offer a $200 compensation or a $500 compensation or something. So it's not very lucrative. But also, I've always said the best way is pick an area you want to live and drive around and look for rent signs, as well as look at all the different websites.
Jack Adridge said it's happening there. Matt Lamar said he had a lady after 3 days and 3 offers ask if they should rent their house.
That's after offers. And that, I don't know how your contracts work there, Matt, but you did your job. You brought them an offer as per your contract. And now, interesting.
All right, we're looking at the increase on top of last year's increase. Economist CoreLogic said over 2 years, it's grown 22% nationally. That's talking about homeowners that have a place, have their home and have a home to rent. I don't know. It's interesting data. Y'all go check out the article on Inman. I wanted to bring it up to see what you guys are experiencing. Obviously, y'all are experiencing that. I haven't experienced it yet. I have sellers that wish they could, that are like, man, I would love to keep this as a rental, but we got to have all the money and all the equity to put into our next home.
Well, when you have
happening a lot.
A market that doesn't have such crazy ebbs and flows, I assume, Ray, that they're going to have less equity to play with. It doesn't grow in such abnormal amounts, right? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing. It's actually a good thing because it's more of a stabilized market, but they don't have making 42% in the last 2.5 years is a little insane, but Ray's market is more like 24%, where that's still amazing, but it's not all this equity you can just, play with. And if you refied, do you really want to refi again and do a HELOC, a home equity line of credit against it? And then how do you buy another house? I mean, there's so many questions.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Matt updates us on this lady, says he was under contract on day 4 at asking price.
There you go.
Way to go, Matt.
Day 4. So that's
way to go. That's what we need to hear.
So day 4 is still way ahead of average days on market now.
Yeah. Still way ahead, probably way slower than what Julie Moon could have done.
She probably done it with 4 hours. Forget 4
hours
days,
still. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Matt is an amazing agent. We have to say that. We're just kidding.
Yes.
We're just kidding. Julie's amazing too. Probably more amazing than Matt, but we're just kidding about what we're saying about Matt. Wait, I think I just did the backhanded thing.
I mean, if you had to pick one, who would you pick?
Well, I have picked, and I picked Matt.
That's so funny.
I was
for those that are insiders. I mean, I'm talking about who are you going to pick, and what I have ready, the NFL draft sound effect. I mean, this is like high tech. This is high production right here.
Yeah. See, my plan is to go back and forth. I was going to go Matt and then Julie, but I was going to put in all the contracts.
No,
we have to make sure that they can't use Scapin as appraiser.
Make them fight.
He's just going through sounds now.
Fight to the death. That's what we want. Well, guess what time it is?
Game time.
No, it's 1:12. So thanks everybody for joining us on today's show. We really appreciate you guys. One of the reasons we do this show. Oh, Armando, what's up, buddy? I just noticed him in Clubhouse. Thanks for dropping by Clubhouse. One of the things we love about this is that you guys can join us and just say howdy, just like you did. Or you can watch for hours and then wind up saying,
"What kind of show is this?"
What she did. So thank you guys for adding to the show, for being with us, for putting your input, for sharing stories. We really appreciate you guys. So Dan, tell everybody before we sign off where they can find you.
And thank you to Krista for jumping on. And I want to change things up.
Yeah, that was rad.
Sorry, I just hit my mic. But you can find me right here at D Ludwig Rocks, but DLUDWIGROCKS. But honestly, it doesn't matter. This music is perfect for this. What I want to say is go check on your friends. Even if you think they're fine, they're not fine. They may not be fine. The ones that are all fun and happy, they may not be. Go check on them, please. Ray, where can they find you?
You can find me at Ray Zorback. That's RayZorback. Everywhere good razorbacks are sold, mainly on Instagram. Find me on Instagram, connect with me there, send me a DM, tell me you watched the show. There may be something in it for you if you do that. And don't forget, you could go to right after the show, go to Ray Zorback, RayZorback. I'm going to post a link so that you guys can give to the American Cancer Society. So I'll do that. We appreciate you guys' support, and thanks for joining the show. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, dudes. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.